Hi guys, so today I thought I would talk about someone who has heavily influenced my fashion, someone that taught me a lot about style and how to curate a personal style that is chic and effortless but perfect for you, and that is Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. She, if you don't know, was JFK's wife, but to me primarily a fashion icon of the 90s New York City. And so yeah, I thought I would talk about what fashion lessons I've learned from her, because she has heavily influenced my style and she's taught me a lot about figuring out my personal style just because I've always looked up to her as a fashion influence. And so I thought I could dive into some of the fashion lessons that she taught me. I think this video is great for anyone who also loves Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's style. She is all over Pinterest, and rightfully so. We are all obsessed with her, myself included. And I think she's very unique and special because she really mastered minimalist yet chic and very fashionable style. And that is something that is very difficult to do. And so yeah, let's talk a bit more about her and the things that you can learn from her if you are looking to emulate her kind of style. So I think the biggest lesson that I've learned from her and implemented into my style, but also one of the things, if not the thing, that she is kind of known for, is that she really believes that less is more. And I know people probably say this a lot when it comes to fashion, but she really did implement that in her fashion, and she really stayed true to that concept. You never really see her with very many accessories on. Her hairstyle is always pretty much the same. Her hair color is always pretty much the same. And her clothing is very minimal and very simple. And I think when you look at that on Pinterest, you think like, of course, it looks great. Like, she looks wonderful and very minimalist and chic in that way. But I think when it comes to creating outfits for yourself, it is kind of a novel thing to implement into your outfits, because I think naturally where we are in fashion culture today, we want to wear more, we want to buy more. And I think obviously that has a lot to do with capitalism and consumerism and just the environment that we're in. So I think it's just really a difficult thing to keep in mind. I find that sometimes, I'll put on an outfit that I know I love and I know I feel good in, but I'll kind of have this thought of like, is this boring? Is this too simple? Do I need to add like more? And I find myself like checking myself, because I know I already love what I'm wearing. And there's not always a need to add more on. And I think that is something that CBK really stood by and knew. And I know that she's very confident in that mindset. And that is something I really adore about her. She knows what she looks good in and she sticks with it. Obviously fashion is about experimenting and finding new things that you like. But to an extent, like, you don't really need more when you already feel good and you've found your personal style. It's okay to stick with it, and I think it makes life a lot easier, and that's something I've noticed. It's okay to be more minimal, and I think, funny enough, that is what made her stand out, was how minimalist her outfits were, how considered her outfits were, and I think we can apply that to today. You don't need expensive clothes or, glamorous accessories or the newest thing to stand out. In fact, it kind of is unique to really pare down your style. And I feel like this is also an opportunity to get creative. Something that's really fun about having a very simple and refined style is that you can find very unique ways to accessorize. This could be anything from like a staple accessory that you wear every day. For me, it's the gold hoop earring. So I have them on now. Like, I literally have 2 pairs and I wear them every single day, and I love them so much that every time I put them on, I feel like myself and I feel confident. It could even be something like a signature scent, something that you wouldn't consider an accessory, but really it is. That is what I love about fashion, and what I think CBK loved about fashion as well, is that you can really make it your own. You don't need all of the new things that everyone wants. It's really about finding like the special things that make you feel beautiful and that you want to incorporate into your fashion every single day. I've mentioned this in other videos, but I think it is definitely worth reiterating, and that is that finding your flattering fit is absolutely key to feeling confident in what you're wearing. And I think this is something that CBK definitely mastered. She knew what structures and what fits of clothing looked good on her and what complemented her body, and she fully leaned into that. Everything that she wore was kind of within that blueprint that she had created for herself. So obviously this is going to be different for everyone because everyone has different body types, but for me, what I've pulled from CBK's fashion and what I love wearing now are like oversized white dress shirts, long jeans that are almost like sculpted for me, like jeans that I feel fit very nicely. I will wear like the same pair of jeans every day if they fit really well and make me feel good. I won't go too much into this point because I kind of went into it in detail in my Finding Your Personal Style video. But yeah, finding clothes that flatter you is definitely key, no matter what your, style is, even if it's different from CBK's. I think it's critical. And then kind of related to that point, I think another lesson that I learned from CBK is to not stray from your blueprint. And what I mean by this is once you find the clothes that you know flatters you, that you feel comfortable and confident in, I don't really buy anything outside of those pieces. I just kind of buy different versions of them because I know that my money will be well spent if I do that, and that they will be pieces that I will feel good in and will wear. So one example for CBK is that she has a few like really bright summer dresses that are not necessarily like what you see or think of when you think of her fashion sense. But what I think works really well for her with these dresses is that the shape is very minimal. It's very simple and very much CBK, like her other dresses in like blacks and neutral tones would look like, just a different, brighter print. Finding areas and specific details about clothes where you want to switch it up is so important, because oftentimes if I like go out and buy something that I think I'll like, but is like way too out of my comfort zone, I don't end up wearing it because I don't know how to style it. Finding like that detail that you want to switch up for a special piece is so important. But if you know the shapes of clothing that you look good in, I wouldn't really stray from that too much. I would, for example, like stick with the shape and find a different fabric or a different print for your like special statement pieces. One of the most interesting things about CBK as a fashion icon is that she entered the fashion spotlight as a normal woman. She worked for Calvin Klein, and she really only entered the spotlight because of the social circles that she was running in, but she was definitely like very much a normal person before she married JFK, and all of that changed for her. So I think that's something that is very valuable when we think of lessons we can learn from CBK, because a lot of fashion icons we see are not normal people. They are actors, models. So we're not really seeing a lot of the people we look up to in like a day-to-day normal routine. And so I think that's something very special about CBK, is that her fashion was very much tailored around her lifestyle. And so that leads me to the next and like one of the most important lessons that I've learned from her, is to not sacrifice your comfort and the practicality of your clothes. In fact, you should definitely prioritize it. A beginner mistake that we've all made in developing our personal fashion sense is to buy clothing items that we see online, we see on people, that we think is cute, but then it just sits in our closet and we never end up wearing it because it's not wearable, or it's just not something that works with, our personal lifestyle. So I think the sooner you prioritize and recognize what you need your clothes to do for you, the sooner you can build a wardrobe that is chic, fashionable, but also that you can wear and live your life in. And this also really lends to this like effortless look that I feel like we all want to have. Effortlessness and practicality kind of go hand in hand. It's being able to make practical outfits look fashionable. And so I feel like if you really lean into the practicality of your clothes, you'll naturally develop this like air of effortlessness, which we all want. So in CBK's instance, there are so many photos of her just going to work and commuting to work, which are honestly like, I think my favorite photos, because living in New York, going to an office, it's something I can emulate completely. And so I love the photos of her where she has, you know, her oversized white dress shirt, she has on a flat pair of shoes, whether it's like boots or she loved loafers, having like that large tote bag that you can shove anything and everything into. Those are such fun pieces to work with because they're comfortable, but I think those are the pieces that just look the most chic because it like represents a working woman, and I loved that about her. When we think about icons of fashion, even like Jane Birkin, her Birkin bag, the purpose of it was to be like the everyday bag, like the only bag you need, because you can fit anything you want in it. It can get beat up when you're out and about. You can, you know, make it your own, and it's very practical. And so I think that a lot of our fashion icons really took into consideration what is practical for them, and that is something I love so much. I think it's really important. So, and I think this applies even when you're thinking of clothes that, you know, aren't for work necessarily. Like even when I buy dresses for nice events or like heels for nice events, I always buy them with the intention of being able to feel comfortable in them. You know, I'm not gonna get a dress that is super tight that I'll be like shifting around in all night, or heels that are super tall. I love kitten heels, I love slip dresses, because I think also like when you're comfortable in something, you look good in it. That also lends to this like effortless look. You just aren't even thinking about your clothes. And the last lesson I'd say I learned from CBK, and kind of a fun one, is that hair is definitely a part of your outfit. I would even argue that hair is an accessory, and this kind of leans into the idea of like finding your, you know, signature accessories, keeping your outfits very simple, and really picking out things to emphasize a really great outfit. And hair does that for me. I think finding your key or like signature hairstyle is such a power move, and personally has made me feel so much more confident in what I'm wearing. And this doesn't mean styling it excessively. The first thing to emphasize is having healthy hair, regardless of, you know, what type of hair you have. Having like healthy and nourished hair is so important, and I think something that was very recognizable when it came to CBK. She had very shiny hair, it was always very voluminous, and her hairstyles just always looked intentional. And again, this doesn't mean styling it excessively. Like for CBK, her go-to hairstyle was just like her straight hair, very voluminous. And then when she would go to events, she literally always did the slicked back bun. And she never strayed from those two hairstyles. They look good on her, she knew that. And so why stray from kind of what's become your signature? And I think like finding your signature hairstyle is so much fun. For me, since I also have straight hair, I kind of try to emulate her hair. Obviously, I don't have blonde hair, but I try to get a bit of volume by like blowing out my bangs every morning and just leaving my hair straight. And I think that also allows me to retain like healthy hair. Like whatever it is, finding something that you feel good in, but that you can do every day that isn't like super time intensive. It's like the ideal balance. It could be anything from putting natural oils in your hair after you shower at night, or spraying a bit of perfume in your hair in the morning, which I love to do. Like I think just little details that are very considered that you can do every day are so important and very chic. The key for me is for it to be considered. Again, it doesn't mean styling your hair for an hour or 2 hours every day. Just some little thing that you can do and add into your routine every morning that kind of elevates your hairstyle. I think that that is so important and can add a lot very instantly to whatever outfit you're wearing. So yeah, those are my top lessons that I've learned from fashion icon, CBK. I think she is a great example of timeless style. Everything that she was wearing in the 90s is still what we, or a lot of us at least, aspire to wear and emulate today. And I think it will be the same in 10 years, in 20 years. CBK taught us a lot that we can incorporate into our personal fashion, regardless of whether you want to dress like her or you want to dress differently. There are definitely some valuable lessons that we can take away from her. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was fun. And yeah, I'm curious to see if you guys like CBK's fashion, if there are certain looks of hers that are very iconic to you and that you want to emulate in your day-to-day outfits. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk soon. Bye.